Clone Assassin Troopers were an elite group of clone troopers who were recruited by Supreme Chancellor Palpatine near the end of the Clone Wars, with the specific goal of eliminating Jedi opponents after the events of Order 66. These assassin clones were trained to defeat Jedi using a rare hand-to-hand combat technique designed to exploit the weaknesses of Force users. So who were the clone assassins, and why were they taken to the Jedi Temple during Anakin's slaughter of the younglings? I'm going to break down exactly what the Clone Assassin Division was and the unique weaponry that they used. Before we get into it, remember to hit the subscribe button down below for more Star Wars lore content just like this. Only 69% of you have hit the red button so far, so make sure you subscribe if you enjoy the video. Near the end of the Clone Wars, a new division of clone troopers was specially ordered and recruited by Supreme Chancellor Palpatine called the Clone Assassin Troopers. The Assassin Trooper Division was created by Palpatine through legitimate legislation in the Senate, which was passed by a majority of senators without question. Palpatine claimed that these assassin troopers were essential to protecting the government of the Republic and the Chancellor himself in case the Jedi ever decided to rebel against the Republic or try to assassinate the Supreme Chancellor. Yes, he literally said that in public on the Senate floor. Because Palpatine was one of the most popular Chancellors the Republic had seen in quite some time, through his continued success in the Clone Wars, the Senate were very happy to continue passing any legislation he brought forward, regardless of the consequences. It's actually crazy how open Palpatine was able to be with this division. The Jedi obviously weren't too happy with the creation of the Clone Trooper Assassin Division, but were forced to accept it as part of the structure of the Republic military or risk losing their political power, which of course was one of the major weaknesses of the Jedi Order towards its end. Systems to eliminate members of military organizations should they go rogue or commit treason already existed in almost every other military in the galaxy, so the Jedi also believed that this legislation was merely created to show the public that their elected leader, Palpatine, was taking the steps necessary to ensure that the Jedi did not gain too much power. They never believed that these clones would actually be used against them. Once the Clone Assassin Bill was passed, Palpatine initially only sent the Clone Assassin Troopers along with the Covert Operations Troopers to assist in the killing of clones who deserted from the Grand Army of the Republic. They obviously weren't authorized to eliminate any Jedi targets at this point, so Palpatine was forced to use them on clone defectors, political opponents, and separatist leadership. After the Elite Assassin Division was created, Sidious and the Grand Army of the Republic leadership began to gear up the new breed of assassin troopers, making sure that they were equipped with the best possible armor and weaponry for their specific mission objectives. They were outfitted in the standard Phase 2 clone armor with only some very slight modifications to make it easier for them to perform acrobatic maneuvers and advanced martial arts movements. The clone assassin armor was usually a light blue and white color, but some incredibly skilled and high-ranking clone assassins also wore darker Phase 2 armor, making them extremely difficult to spot in fast-paced hand-to-hand combat, which of course is what they specialized in. Unlike regular clone troopers, the clone assassins did not carry blasters as their primary weapons, instead carrying a highly enhanced vibroblade in each arm directly attached to their elbows. These vibroblades extended the reach of the clone assassin using them and significantly increased the lethality of their attacks. When not being used, the assassin trooper could fold the vibroblade back into a neutral position so that it would not obstruct any routine activities of the trooper. If a clone assassin ever found himself in a dangerous position, he could rapidly activate the vibroblades at only a moment's notice, sharply swinging them out, locking them into the attack position before lunging at his opponent. The clone assassin troopers also often wore kamas, which were attached to a tactical belt that held 2 storage pouches, allowing for the assassin to take tracking equipment or any other objects that may be useful in assassinating their target. The kamas were also sometimes used to conceal specialized equipment used on covert assassination missions, even to hide classified materials or objects from other clone troopers who did not have the required clearance. Some very specialized clone assassins also carried modified sniper rifles so that they could execute their targets from a distance without anyone being able to witness the assassination take place. The clone assassin troopers who were selected for this role were the best of the best and had to show their superiors that they were well and truly above the rest of the men selected for the assassin program. Finally, the assassin troopers did also carry DC-17 blaster pistols with them, but they were only used as a backup secondary weapon, with most clone assassins always preferring to use their unique martial arts style in combination with vibroblades to decimate their opponents. Now you know exactly what armor and equipment the clone assassins used. Make sure to let me know down in the comments below which special clone units had the best armor out of Shadow Troopers, Covert Operations Troopers, and the Assassins. Because these clone assassins were commissioned and created for the sole purpose of going into combat with Jedi on equal terms, they were trained to use the martial art known as Teras Kasi, which you might remember from Solo: A Star Wars Story. Maul was extremely skilled in this rare martial martial art and passed down his knowledge to Dryden Voss, who in turn passed his skills down to Kira. The immense training that the assassin troopers went through in learning this martial art enabled them to develop extreme speed and mental fortitude, being able to anticipate enemy movements before they even happened, very similar to Jedi foresight, but without the use of the Force. The fighting style also emphasized techniques that would successfully counter most Force users and leave them on an equal playing field with the assassin clones. The clone assassins used their vibroblades in conjunction with this fighting form, making them almost unbeatable by non-Force sensitives in hand-to-hand combat. The absolutely crazy thing is that the Jedi allowed their freshly graduated Padawans to fight against these clone assassin troopers as a method for improving both of their skills. The Padawans and the clone assassins were able to increase their dexterity, mental capacity, and reflexes greatly through these practice battles, with the Jedi Order believing that they would fight side by side with these troopers on the front lines eventually. It's absolutely stunning to realize that the Jedi were training their own assassins for combat. This clearly shows just how deep Palpatine's manipulations went and how effectively he was able to use the Sith shrine below the Jedi Temple to cloud the foresight and wisdom of the Jedi Order. The clone assassins were trained so well through this program that they were easily able to dodge or parry away most strikes from melee weapons, including lightsabers. Awesomely, through spending so much time around the Jedi Order and its Padawans, the clone trooper assassins became resistant to Jedi mind tricks and were able to hold them off without even flinching. A small squad of clone assassins could easily take down a Jedi Knight after their training, and even more easily a Padawan, but they stood no chance when coming up against a Jedi Master. It would have been very unfortunate for Anakin if he never fell to the dark side and had to face one of these guys. So after Order 66 was called by Darth Sidious and Darth Vader was made his apprentice, Vader and his legion of clones, the 501st, were sent to the Jedi Temple to eliminate all Jedi inside, including the younglings. As Operation Nightfall began, clone assassin snipers were placed around the Jedi Temple, while the regular clone assassins were sent to eliminate the remaining Jedi on the ground floors and the council chamber areas of the temple. During the raging battle inside between the clones and the Jedi, Darth Vader assigned a squad of 6 clone assassin troopers to protect the Jedi Temple Communication Center, where he had activated a beacon that transmitted a message to all the Jedi around the galaxy, telling them to return to the temple. A large garrison of clone troopers were also sent to reinforce the clone assassin troopers inside of the Jedi Communication Center and to kill any Jedi who returned upon hearing the transmission. After hearing the transmissions for themselves, however, Master Yoda and Obi-Wan returned to the Jedi Temple in hopes of stopping the false message. Once they arrived inside of the communications room, Obi-Wan and Master Yoda were cornered by the squad of clone assassins that Vader had stationed there, but they were able to successfully defeat all of them. After killing the clone assassin troopers, Obi-Wan replaces Anakin's false transmission signal with a new message telling all surviving Jedi that the time to return to the temple has passed, which the full message can be seen in Star Wars Rebels. After Order 66, clone assassin troopers were mostly stationed on Coruscant to protect high-ranking Imperial officials, but were also very frequently sent to hunt down and assassinate Imperial traitors, defectors, and others that were not important enough for Darth Vader himself to be sent to hunt down. So that is the story of the most dangerous elite clone trooper division, the clone assassin troopers. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more like this one, remember to smash the subscribe button down below and hit the join button for exclusive behind the scenes images and project updates. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.